Heath Ledger. Fans gather outside his New York home where the Academy Award nominee was found dead, a drug overdose, a suspected cause. The troubled star and father of one was 28.
10 News with Natasha Belling.
First this morning, Australian actor Heath Ledger has been found dead in an apartment in New York. It's believed the 28-year-old may have died from a drug overdose. Reporter Wendy Gillette joins us now live from Manhattan. Wendy, I understand there's quite chaotic scenes there at the moment.
Natasha, it is a very chaotic scene out here. If you look across the street, you can see all of the photographers that are taping a press conference right now. Many of them are going live with us. So lots of paparazzi out here. And along with all of them, hundreds of onlookers who are very upset about hearing about the death of the young actor and just curious about what's going on in the neighborhood. This is a very upscale neighborhood, certainly not the scene that's usually in this kind of neighborhood. What happened at 3:30 this afternoon is that Ledger apparently had a massage appointment here inside his apartment. And when the masseuse showed up, Ledger's housekeeper knocked on Ledger's bedroom door, didn't get a response, so ended up going inside and found Ledger dead in his bed. At first, he was unresponsive, but then there was no, they tried to wake him up, there was no response at all, so that's when they called police. Also, he was naked at the time, and sleeping pills were found right near his body.
And Wendy, what's the latest information you have on the police investigation at this early stage?
Well, it looks like police are just giving us some updates on what happened. So far, as I said, all they said was that he was found with sleeping pills near his body. His body was taken from the home, and an autopsy will be performed tomorrow. Natasha?
Thanks to reporter Wendy Gillette joining us there live from New York. And 10's entertainment reporter Angela Bishop joins us now live here in the studio. And very sad, tragic news. Any indication that Heath was troubled at all?
Of course, only speculation at this stage, Tash, but there were some signs that in recent times he'd worn some very bizarre clothes. I know it sounds almost flippant, but he'd been wearing sort of weird combinations of outfits, stripy socks, weird hats, that sort of thing. He had at a couple of award ceremonies, going back as far as 2 years ago, appearance at the SAG Awards, behaved a bit strangely on stage, subsequently issued an apology, said he'd suffered from stage fright and so forth. Just signs that in retrospect, looking at what's happened today, may lead us to think, gosh, was that a sign that something was the matter? The other thing was that he gave an interview while he was filming his most recent project, which is The Dark Knight, where he plays the Joker in the latest Batman film. He said that the role was really staying with him and that actually he had asked for some sleeping pills because he wasn't able to sleep. So there you go.
Now, we've had many people, of course, comment on his very stellar career today, the fact that he was a very, very gifted and talented actor. Tell us about his career, looking back at his career, only 28 years of age though.
Sure, it's quite incredible. His career actually began here at Channel 10, believe it or not, in a show called Sweat, and he played a gay cyclist, and he was actually offered 2 roles at the time. He'd come all the way from Perth, from his hometown, and been offered 2 roles. One was as a gay cyclist, the other was as a more sort of normal character. He took the role of a gay cyclist because he believed he always take the role that's more challenging and more difficult. He then did a series called Raw up on the Gold Coast, which was for American television, co-starring with Melissa George. I went and visited him on set on that. That would have been in 1997, so 11 years ago now. And that was his entree into America. And then he did the 10 Things I Hate About You, sort of a teen spunk movie. And that's when he made his mind up that he wasn't going to go that path and that he was going to take very, very serious roles. He played Mel Gibson's son in The Patriot. And Mel, at the moment, is understood to be devastated because they got very close on that film. In fact, so much of the Australian film community is, in fact, devastated because so many of them have worked with him. Of course, the terrific Australian films, Two Hands and Candy. He worked with Abby Cornish and Brian Brown. He worked with Kate Blanchett. She received an Oscar nomination for playing Bob Dylan in I'm Not There. He was also one of the Bob Dylans in that show. Just a tremendous career. And we're left thinking, what else would he have achieved? He was only 28 years old, and a bit like when Michael Hutchins passed away, you wonder what more these artists could have given, had left to give us. So I think that that's part of the great tragedy today. He also, of course, leaves behind a baby girl, Matilda, from his partner, Michelle Williams, and that is devastating on so many levels. It's always the tragedy multiplied when a child is left behind, and he was devoted to that little girl.
And I guess professionally, as you were chatting about before, two-hand Candy, we've seen him take up these challenging roles, and that's why he's been quite well respected, not only here in the acting community, but right around the world.
Right around the world, and he wanted to be respected for his acting, which is why he had perhaps a little trouble with the paparazzi. We might remember a very specific episode here in Sydney